Okay, hi, this is Joe with the Spurs Fan Cave. I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of these rumors that have been swirling around involving LaMarcus Aldridge and the San Antonio Spurs. First of all these rumors started with an article from sports writer and prominent sports writer at that, Jackie McCullum of ESPN, dropped an offhanded suggest or comment, should I say, suggesting about Spurs LaMarcus Aldridge may not finish the season with the San Antonio Spurs, as hinted there might have been some issues going on in the back end. Even Zach Lowe at one time from ESPN, he had alluded to the same thing, pointing out that there might be some issues and the Spurs might need a rebuild, and that trading Aldridge now might actually return the best value for the team overall. But what's really going on is neither of those things. I think what's going on in the back end is really a misunderstanding. LaMarcus Aldridge and the San Antonio Spurs, basically, what's going on is the honeymoon's over. They're expecting a lot out of him this season, and the fact that they want him to be able to produce at a high level. Now that Tim Duncan is no longer with the team, but what happened is that when the Spurs were signing LaMarcus Aldridge, one of the stipulations was he would actually be the number one guy, and Kawhi Leonard would be number two, meaning that, LaMarcus Aldridge would get that chance to be an all-star, possibly, and also an MVP candidate. But what's gone on is Kawhi Leonard has emerged now as the Spurs franchise player. Um, and I think that's kind of upsetting him a little bit. And what's happening on that level is kind of, I guess, a healthy competition, but that's not really what the Spurs had alluded to when they first signed him. So he's kind of confused and upset. Uh, when he signed with the Spurs, he was going to be the number one guy on the Spurs. And he was also going to have the best chance of winning a championship at that time because Tim Duncan was still with the team. Now that Tim Duncan's no longer with the team, now that he's possibly number two guy, maybe number three at times, kind of doesn't sit right with him. So at this juncture, it's more of trying to find his place within the organization itself. I think if LaMarcus can get comfortable being that number two and number three guy and know his role and get comfortable with it, his numbers will be great. His play will be outstanding. I just think that there's a lot of talk about, Spurs trading him, and I don't really see a lot of that happening at this juncture, just because you wouldn't want to trade somebody who's going to give you a double double almost every single night. And LaMarcus Aldridge is still in his prime, still has a lot of game left in him. It wouldn't be prudent to the Spurs to go ahead and trade him for what, maybe some draft picks or some potential, younger players that could pan out for the Spurs. It's too much of a gamble at this point. So I think really he's just, in the back end, he's just a little hurt, upset. And, going forward, I think if him and Kawhi can gel and work together and play great together on the court, the Spurs will always be in the talks of, being in the run for another championship. So really at this point, it's just more of a misunderstanding, more a little bit of jealousy, but I don't think it's anything for the Spurs fans to be concerned about at this juncture. Let's just see how the season starts, and let's see what the Spurs do this season. I mean, it's an exciting time, and I think our focus should mainly be on the new era in Spurs basketball and seeing what the team actually does this season. So that's just my 2 cents. Those are just, some of the things I'd like to throw out there. But more importantly, let's see what you guys have to say about this topic and what you think about this situation. So go ahead and comment, leave your comments below, and we will respond. So until next time, guys, go Spurs, go.